Alright guys, I'm going to try this for real. Hopefully. I'm going to try using this to track your comments because I'm recording the screen at the same time. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to see if I can fire it up. It's alive! Yes, possibly. I was trying to see your comments at the same time as seeing the screen. Which is interesting because my phone's logged into my account. So let's trying it with this. Okay. Maybe. Videos. Nope, that's before. How's it going, Duplicate? Just trying to work out how I can see your comments at the same time as doing the other things, because it's got the dual screen. Sup? I may need to grab the laptop. Okay, bear with me for 1 minute. I'm grabbing the laptop so I can see your comments while I'm doing this. So, 1 minute. Oh, that's the wrong screen. There we go. Okay. Hello, hello. Alright, we got some people, and I should be able to use this tablet to see your comments while I'm doing some stuff on the computer. Yes. Perfect. All right. I will stick that there. Nope. I need more room here. Okay. Cool stuff, guys. All right. Well, this is the first official stream for Makers Muse. I hope it's working. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. And this is only possible because of you guys on Patreon who pledged to help me buy this, which is my 4G dongle, which is what I'm using for streaming now. And hopefully it was worth all the money I spent on it because, I need that fast internet speeds for fast streaming because the internet speeds in Australia are terrible. So I thought for the first stream, what could be fun is just going back to the basics and doing some file ripping from Fallout. I've done it in a few videos before, but this is kind of, I just want to go through the process of what I do, in real time with you guys. And I'll be answering your comments and just having a good Sunday Arvo because, that's what it's all about. So I've got the remains of my monster import and I'm going to be checking out your comments. Glad it's working. Do we know what license has Bethesda released these models under? No, we don't. I've always told people never get these files and put them on the internet for free download because you might be liable if Bethesda does come to track people down. But as far as I understand it, if you're doing it for your own use and you're not making any profit off it, I don't see why they'd have a problem with it. So I haven't had any issues, and I know of other games like Chivalry, the creators of Chivalry, Torn Banner, got in touch with me and said, hey, that's an awesome thing you're doing with our game, and they put it on their Twitter and social networks. So I do know there's been some companies that have had a problem with people printing files, but I think it's mostly if money's involved. So as long as you don't try to sell these files, you should be safe. So without further ado, I've got NifScope here. This is still the pre-alpha 4. There's a newer version, but I'm just using this older one. And what you need to do is get into the archive of Fallout, and this works on any of the Bethesda games. So it'll work on Fallout, it'll work on Skyrim, it'll work on, I think, even Oblivion. And I'm going to fire up meshes. And find something interesting to convert for printing. So let's have a look. Actors. Critters. What would be interesting to print? Something that's not too difficult to convert. Mirelurk, maybe? Mirelurk could be good. I'm going to go with that. I think that looks pretty good. What's the chat saying? Can you sell 3D prints? I would say no. With the whole issues around copyright and protection of file, you know, who owns the file. There was a whole issue with the eBay guys selling stuff with Thingiverse. I guess you could. I don't think they'd care if you're just like in a market selling prints from these files, but you don't want to get attacked by a multinational gaming company. That would be bad. But if you're doing it for yourself, there's no problem at all. But I'm just going to grab these, file, export. It's fine. Let's go with Mirelurk. You see I've ripped heaps before. Mirelurk, save. And we're done with that. Close that. And let's go to, what do I need now? Well, the file's not going to be ready for printing, obviously. If I go to Mesh Mixer, and import the OBJ. You can see all those blue lines. That's basically the file has holes everywhere. And unfortunately, Mesh Mixer is not very good at fixing these files. I wish it was better, but you can see all those pink areas. It's gonna delete them. If I just auto repair, it kind of kills everything. So we can't do that. So I'm going to use Netfab to fix it. And I usually use the Netfab cloud, but I've got a new system now, so I don't have to upload stuff to their cloud. A few people were a bit worried about Microsoft having access to these files and licenses and stuff. But I found out you can do it on the one you download, Netfab Basic. Yeah, generally no. Generally it's a bad idea to try to sell these files. So I'm going to select, I want to print this purple one. I think it's the best one. Delete. Mirelurk. Yeah, save it's Mirelurk. And Netfab. So this is the free Netfab Basic. And I haven't registered or anything, so you have to wait 5-10 seconds for it to open. It's pretty limited. It's not nearly as good as the pro version of Netfab. It doesn't stitch shells together, which is why I usually use the cloud system. But in the new workflow I've got now, you don't need to stitch the shells together. So you can use the basic version, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to open up Mirelurk, And it's got the big exclamation mark saying, yes, there's heaps of errors. Let's go fix it. Yeah, so it's saying there's 10 holes. Actually, that's not too many holes. And 15 shells. And it's those shells that would cause problems if you just tried to print this normally. So I'm going to just do an automatic repair, which gets rid of the holes. And the holes, if the holes are gone, that's the most important part of it. So still a little bit of red there. Not too bad. Yeah, looks fine. Cool. And I'll just export that out. My alert repaired. How's it going, Bob? I hope this is still working. Yes. Yes, it is. Good. A little bit worried for a second there. And that's all we need netfab for. And then the latest thing I like to do is, if you'll notice, all these mesh files from games are really pixelated. They've got, you know, not pixelated, triangulated, low polygon count, so they're really faceted. And they don't look that great for printing. So I've got this awesome new way of smoothing prints. I did it for the Deathclaw I did a while ago. And you need to use Mesh Lab. So it's another program altogether. If I go to Mesh Lab, oh, I would love to see a Liberty Prime, dude. That would be awesome. I've been thinking of doing one of the synths, but the files are so hard to convert that I haven't been able to do a synth or power armor yet. They're the two I really want to do, but they're going to be really hard to convert. So this might look easier. But I'll show you this awesome way you can smooth these low poly files. So if you go through Mesh Lab and import the mesh, let's go to navigate to where it is. Okay. So Mesh Lab is like a Swiss Army toolkit, whatever, Swiss Army knife, of just all these different filters you can use. And the one I like to use the most is under the remeshing tool, and it's the butterfly subdivision. So subdivide surfaces, butterfly subdivision. And the thing with Mesh Lab, there's no undo button, there's no backspace. Once you do something, it's done. So always be careful, and you have to, if you make a mistake, you have to reload the file. But I tend to find if I set this to 3 is okay, and maybe 0.5, actually that's set it a bit lower, let's put it to 0.3. And then apply. How bad's that? How cool is that? So it's taken the surfaces and averaged them out, and then smoothed the entire file. So it's added loads more triangles in, so you know, that's heaps more triangles. But it's worked out where the surfaces were, where the angles were, and filled in the gaps essentially. And that means you can take any of these Fallout files or any low poly file and pretty much add the smoothness back in the software. So that's done, and that's all we needed Mesh Lab for. So I'm just going to export it out again. Thanks for the comments, guys. Wait, there we go. Repaired, smoothed. Okay. Alright, we're done with that. And we're done with that. And we're back to Mesh Mixer. So that's the original. And if we import the new one, you can see the difference. So, you know, original, smoothed. I'll zoom right in there. You can see how it's gotten the low poly areas and just added more triangles essentially. So I'll get rid of the original. Go. And that's almost good to print. There's obviously a lot of work that needs to be done with working out support structures. But the one thing we need to do is now finally stitch all those shells together. Like I mentioned before, there's lots of shells in these models. So here I just separated them out. They're all, one arm is a shell, claw is a shell. And I mean, you might want to print these separately and then just join them together, but there might be interferences. So I'm just going to essentially stitch them all together using the Make Solid tool. So, and this might stuff the stream up because Make Solid uses a lot of processing resources. So you obviously don't want to do the fast mode. You want to go to accurate and ramp everything up. Update. And let it do its thing. Is Thingiverse working currently? Not sure. I do use Thingiverse, but not using it right now. But it's been working, I don't know, last time I used it, a couple of days ago. So here is my look, and you can see it's still pretty smooth. I didn't lose too much detail through the Make Solid tool. I'll accept that. And I'd say that's pretty good to print. There's obviously a few things you'd want to change, like these legs are pretty finicky. And the claw you might want to cut off to print separately. So what we might do is slice, maybe slice it somehow. So so we'll go to select, and I'm going to select just the arm. Looks pretty good. And then you can go to, where are you? Plane cut. And we can slice the arm off. Slice. Accept. And then we can go to separate shells. And the arm is now separated. That's what I did for the death claw a while ago. I basically went around and sliced all the limbs off and then glued them back on afterwards. Might do the same for this claw. Make the face cam smaller. Okay, guys, I can do that. Hold on a second. Is that better? Getting the infinite loop. Is that good? There's a fairly significant lag between what I'm saying and what I'm seeing in the chat. So just keep that in mind. Okay, that should be right. And I'll cut this off. Slice. Accept. Good stuff. Glad I could fix that. And separate shells. Oh, I've got like a tiny orphan bit there. Doesn't concern me too much. I'll just get rid of that. And I think I might just cut the legs off as well. So do that. I'll just select smaller. Now, if you do accidentally select areas like this, you can hold down Shift and click, and then you can unselect, which is good. But that looks good to me, and I'll just slice those legs off. Edit, plane cut. Slice. And that looks pretty good. And no, I don't want anything selected there. So the trick here is I don't want to slice the top of those legs. I just want to slice the interface with the body. Oops. It can be pretty finicky sometimes. Let's try that one last time. Okay. Slice. Except, I think that worked. Let's find out. Huh. It did not slice it. Maybe I didn't have enough selected. Or maybe I'm missing something. I'm going to try to do it a little bit lower. It's all just trial and error, really. Yeah, a dynamic live streaming would be pretty cool. I mean, I'm just using Open Broadcaster because it's free, and really, this is the first stream I've done, so I really don't know too much about how to use it properly. Okay, that looks pretty good. Separate. Oh, come on, why not? What am I missing? Okay, I'm gonna try selecting an area again. Let's just go all above it. I might have missed one triangle, and that's all it takes to not work. If it doesn't work this time, I'm gonna move on because I don't want to waste too much time on this. There we go. Maybe? No. I'm clearly missing something really important. Okay. Okay, well, never mind. I would normally slice the bottom off, but I can't seem to be able to do that right now. It might be an area touching somewhere. So, just in the interest of moving on, I'm going to save this out, export. So, my alert body, and then this one. Yep. This one. Yep, my alert arm too, I guess. And I'm going to fire up Simplify 3D, which is here. Yeah, the claws are really difficult. Like, you're going to see it with this one as well. Anything that's sharp and comes to a sharp edge, most slicing softwares don't recognize that it needs support on underside sharp edges. So you need to add support in manually or ramp the support value up really high. I had a lot of trouble printing the claws on my ups because they needed the support value at something like 80 degrees or something ridiculous. So anything under 10 was supported, which is really high, but that worked. So anything that's sharp, you will have trouble with. So let's go in and find the file. How's it going, Calvin? Haven't talked to you for ages, man. I've been so busy. Let's bring these guys in. Oh, it's going to be so cool to print that. So I might just have the body on its own. So this is a tricky print. I mean, this would be really difficult on any printer for many reasons. One, it's got these underside arms. It's got underside curves. It's got the legs. So in terms of orientation, I think the best way to do it would be kind of on its back. You will lose a bit of detail on the top, but that way you can just sand it back a little bit, because you don't want support in here. There's no way to remove it. So that's where it comes back to Mesh Mixer. I might spend more time later on cutting bits off further and then assembling later, because you don't really want to print stuff in one go like this. But in the interest of showing you how I would do it, I would go to, where is it? Here we go. I would go to edit and place service on bed, and I'm going to choose one of these triangles in the back, kind of like that. Maybe a little bit more. Hold on. Let's rotate him around. Something like that. Center and arrange. And yeah, something like that. So in terms of support, this is when you really need manual support control. So I'm going to go to customize support structures and see what Simplify 3D has to offer. That's not too bad, actually. That's quite reasonable. I think that would print pretty well. You would probably need a raft in this circumstance. And in terms of removing the support, it might be a bit finicky with those little arms, but wouldn't be too bad. So I'm going to go into processes, and I will turn raft on. So I use a raft. Let's have a look at height. I like 0.25. I don't know, it's a nice balance between quality and speed for me. I don't have time to wait, days for 0.1 mil layer height prints to finish. And for infill, probably 10s, 12, whatever, is safe. And this is not going to be PLA, it'll be, sorry, not going to be ABS, it'll be PLA. Looks good. It's good. Support, yes. Temperature, 60, 200. I might make that 215, just because the Wanhao or the Cocoon Create tends to have a bit of an unstable temperature. It doesn't hold it in place very well. I haven't updated the PIDs or anything. But 215 seems to work a little bit better for me for big prints. And in terms of speed, that's pretty fast. I'll just make it 60 millimeters a second, so 3,600 per minute. And slice it. Looking at you guys' comments. Yes, I am streaming. Doesn't the YouTube gaming logo look like the 3D Hubs logo? Yes, it actually really does. It looks exactly the same. I'm not going to review the Velman K8200. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's the one that JCar here used to sell. And I didn't really grab my attention, and I think it's quite outdated. It may be a different printer than the one I'm thinking of, but if it is, then I'm not going to review it. And also, I've just got too many machines to review. I mean, you can see behind me, I've got another Robox. That one's thanks to Hobby King, actually. Hobby King now sell Roboxes, so I'm going to be doing a nice big review for them and see how it goes. Because my initial tests of the Robox were, it was a great printer, but the print heads were really fragile, and apparently they fixed it, so I'm going to try to prove that. Anyway, here's our G-code preview of the Mirelurk. So it's a 10-hour print, which isn't actually too bad for something this ridiculous. And you can see the support structures are high, but not unreasonable. I mean, I can easily see myself pulling that away. And you can see, if if I go down, it's going to pretty much start building from the bottom up. That's where you'll get the lower quality finish underneath the underside curve of the head. But then, yeah, a lot of support for the first sort of pincers. And then what you really want is this area to be clean, because that's where the most detail is. So you can see the head's going to look pretty good. Again, 0.25mm isn't the highest detail quality. Oh, that looks terrifying. 0.25 isn't the highest detail, but it's not too long either. So I will save that off. There's my like body. Save. Yeah, no, I do agree. I think the supports for the claws might be a bit dodgy. Like that support's never going to work, for example. But these ones will be good. These are they're nice and thick. And I think once you get to this point, it doesn't actually need supports, so that should be okay. In terms of fan mail, yes, I intend to do some fan mail stuff. I really enjoy Joel's fan mail Fridays at the moment. But I need a PO box or something you can send to, because I can't guarantee people to be at the current address I'm at, and I can't give that out publicly, unfortunately. So I am looking to do fan mail stuff, and I will let you know as soon as I can. But I mean, you guys don't have to send me anything. I love doing this regardless. But if you really want to send me stuff, I will set up a PO box, so you can. But don't forget, I'm in Australia, so it's pretty hard to send stuff internationally, but it is possible. So I'm going to go back and get rid of this guy, and I'm going to bring the arms in for a separate print. So for these ones, I mean, it's a bit tricky, and I struggled with this with the Deathclaw arms. It looks tempting to print it flat like this, but you're not going to get the best quality on the edges. You want basically the best quality is on the Z axis. So what I might do is just rotate it around to be standing up like that, which seems silly, but you'd be surprised. You'll get really good surface finish on this orientation, even if you need a bit of support underneath. So I would print that one like that, and this one I will probably have to print weirdly, so maybe something along these lines. Let's go with 200. Ooh, no, too much. And then something like that. So, I'm probably making a lot of you guys sort of cringe at this orientation, but I guarantee you, if your support structures are good and you have faith in your support structures, you'll get a better finish printing like this. You'll get a better finish in that Z-axis. So, let's have a look. Yeah, I reckon that'd be alright. That one, maybe not. That one may need a little bit more support, but that one's okay. But yeah, okay, I'll ramp it up. I will go to customize support structures and make this a lot of support. There we go. So that will print pretty well. And if you have your supports dialed in, they will break away very easily. Don't worry about them damaging the surface. Anus, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean with the support structures, I'm used to printing with the ups, and the ups do like a false bottom. They do a line support style with a interface layer, and that's why I like them so much. But you know, Simplify 3D does this sort of line structure, and it does a pretty good job, but it's not as good as the up support. So I might actually do a test with these on the Cocoon Create and the up box to show the difference, because honestly, I haven't found any supports that are as good as the up generates. But obviously, you can only use the up slicer with the up printers, so it's really limiting. But yeah, I'm just going to save this one off. Save it off as arms. How's it going, Taylors? close this guy. Don't have to save the mesh mixer thing. And I'm gonna make my face full screen, so I'm gonna turn this thing off. Da-da. Cool. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to do in this stream, show you my workflow for turning basically game files, Fallout 4 files, into printable objects. And yeah, it's pretty difficult. There's a lot of issues that you will run into in terms of printability, but with the right tools. And yeah, MeshMix is free and Simplify 3D is not free. But that's the slicing software. MeshLab is completely free, difficult to use but free, and Netfab Basic is free. So all those tools combined to rip the files and convert them, and then you can just basically print them. So let me know what you thought about the stream. Again, guys, it was my first ever stream. I really enjoyed doing it, and I need to work out a better way of seeing your comments as I'm talking, because there was a few times where obviously you were trying to tell me something and I couldn't see it. And this is just a random time. I mean, this is about midday for Australia. I'm in Sydney and it's Sunday midday. This may or may not be a good time for you guys. I did ask on Patreon what the best times were, and there was a wide range of answers. So in terms of getting the best time for everyone, it's not really going to be possible, but I will try to schedule things in future so at least you can know when I'm going to be doing future streams. And definitely let me know what you'd like to see in the comments below. I can stream stuff like the printers, but they're in a different room. So that's going to be a little bit interesting. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again very shortly here on Makers Muse. And if you're not subscribed, I mean, all you guys would be subscribed, but if you're not, definitely hit that button because it does help me. That button, I don't know where it is. I'm doing a stream. Alright, guys, I'll see you later. Catch you later. Bye. And stop.